Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and sorry lads, I am about to crush this illusion for you. Sometimes I get things wrong. No, I am not this infallible esoteric species that gets everything right in football. I know, it's hard to believe, isn't it? From the guy who has to wear a Paul McShane t-shirt if Brighton stay up, and get a Ponton Janssen tattoo if Brentford go up, and who predicted QPR to get promoted, and they've just started playing the season like a bunch of lepers with 10 days to live. But, alright, let's take a look at every Premier League club, and just look at what current player I was previously wrong about. Arsenal, Henrik Mkhitaryan. I'll admit, when Arsenal snapped up Henrik Mkhitaryan last year, I thought this was a great signing. Yes, things hadn't gone so well under Jose Mourinho, but this was a lad who ripped up the Bundesliga. Surely he would work wonders in the Arsenal front line, but no, he's looked about as much a footballer as I do a Japanese woman. I'm not sure how he ever managed to impregnate his missus, because his end product is non-existent. Let's not forget, in his last season in Germany, he scored 23 goals and got half a dozen assists. At Arsenal, he's essentially stuffed his talent in a shoebox and set it on fire. Aston Villa, Tyrone Mings. A formal apology to Tyrone Mings. I assumed this man was nothing more than a 7-foot brute who just spent his spare time using people's heads as a goddamn trampoline. I assumed this man was on some sort of one-man mission to leave his size 13 imprint on skulls nationwide. But actually no, he's been a pretty damn impressive defender at Aston Villa, shoring up what was once a pretty pathetic backline. Honestly, you could have penetrated it with a block of cheese. Anything with Alan Hutton in it just screams, good God, pass us the gun. Fair play, Mings, alright? I misjudged you. You are not this typified gargoyle behemoth. You're actually a leader and a fine centre half. Apologies. Bournemouth, Josh King.
Alright, who or what was playing up front for Bournemouth last season? Because that was not the Josh King we all know and love. Love's a bit strong. The King of the South scored 16 goals last season, which means that he's one of the top strikers in England, right? Is he Up until that point, the man was 25 years old and had scored 12 league goals in his entire career. So it's probably a good job they've gone and signed Jermaine Defoe, because that man might as well have got a tattoo of one season wonder stamped on his forehead.
Yeah, I remember thinking when Josh King had his 16 goals during the 16-17 season that this was the epitome of a one-season wonder. Can you blame me? He scored more in that season than he had in his previous 7 combined. But no, fair play to him. He scored 9 the following year and 12 the season after that. And he's even keeping a £20 million centre forward out of the starting lineup. Then again, a bag of scrambled dog feces would keep Dominic Solanke out of the team. Brighton, Dan Burn. Yeah. I thought Dan Burn wouldn't play a single minute of Premier League football this season. And he's only gotten a start of the first 2 games. Not only that, you've received man of the match in the first one, which is essentially just him shoving the finger up at me. But yeah, don't worry, I will get around to writing his apology letter. And George's in Cadu. Burnley, Joe Hart. This just makes me feel dirty. This is like admitting to kissing your cousin or something. Or that you prefer someone to take a dump on your face. But yeah, I need to get this off my chest. I once thought Joe Hart was world class. I know, I ought to cleanse myself. Wash myself of these horrendous thoughts. May the power of Christ compel me. Cleanse me of these horrible thoughts. I don't know why I just did that. But yeah, back when Joe Hart was scooping league titles and winning Golden Gloves with Man City, I thought he was one of the top goalies in the world. I should have known that. Now he was just hiding behind a good back four, and that in reality he belonged nowhere near the definition of world class. For Christ's sake, he can't even get in the goddamn Burnley team. And I actually thought he was in the same league as Buffon and Neuer. Could I need another exorcism? Chelsea, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Chelsea, I don't know, I thought Ross Barkley might become England's next big thing once upon a time. I initially thought Olivier Giroud was total cat spit when he first arrived in England. But no, let's go for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. When he was out on loan to Crystal Palace a couple of years ago, I essentially thought that was it for his Chelsea career. If not sold that summer, then he'd just be chucked back under the cupboard under the stairs and left to rot until the age of 29. But no, he played in the World Cup and played 40 times for Chelsea last season. So yeah, once again, I was wrong. Crystal Palace, Wilfried Zaha. I like ambition. I like confidence. I do not like arrogance or delusion. Probably why Wilfried Zaha was rubbing me the wrong way in 2012 when he came out and said this.
Zaha, only Ronaldo and Messi are better than me.
I can't remember, but I'm guessing that headline would have made me spit out my morning porridge in utter disgust. This was a kid stuck in the goddamn championship. He'd scored 6 goals in 41 the previous season and was coming up against the likes of Peterborough and and Bristol City. And here he was talking about Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Who was this kid? And then when he ended up at Old Trafford, sat in the stands for 6 months before getting relegated to Cardiff, I essentially made up my mind. Wilfred Zaha had all the confidence of Balotelli, but the ability of Leon f***ing Osman. Yeah, don't worry, yeah. It's 5 years later and I realise how very wrong I was. Everton Richarlison. Everton spending close to £50 million on Richarlison. Some teenage kid with 1 Premier League season under his belt, and with all the end product of a dead fish. That is the worst idea I've heard since they announced the 4th Matrix movie.
Oh, Keanu Reeves, why don't you stare blankly into the camera with all the emotion of a block of cabbage for a 4th goddamn time?
But now, Richarlison scored 14 goals last season, while Keanu will no doubt scoop an Oscar or some shite. Leicester City, Jamie Vardy. Surely I was not alone in this one. To think that Jamie Vardy, a man who netted 24 league goals as Leicester won the league, was going to be a one-season wonder. Especially when he started the following season slowly. I just assumed this was just a year where everybody played out of their skin. I mean, for Christ's sake, Danny Simpson was playing right back. Mark Albrighton was winning the league. Like, weird things were happening. And especially for Vardy, this was a 30-year-old striker whose game heavily relied on pace. And who 5 years earlier was no doubt drinking beer out of a dog bowl every second morning. And spending 16 hours a day sleeping on his face.
Would you just like to clarify, Jamie? You will be here next year?
No, I'm signing for Ibiza Town. I'm going to Ibiza on holiday and I'm never coming back.
Yes, I assumed that his liver might resemble that of a 6-week-old turnip. And yes, within 2 years he'd just be some skinny lump of grease stuck halfway down the championship with Bristol City. No, his number since 16, 23 and 18. I am an absolute idiot for doubting this man. Liverpool, Jordan Henderson. Okay, I know I wasn't alone in this. Christ above, back in 2011, his own goddamn mother probably knew that he was playing like, I don't know, Titus Bramble on speed or Paul McShane on roller skates. Either way, he was shit. When he first arrived at Anfield, Jordan Henderson was a big bag of cat piss and nobody wanted to drink it. Not you, not me, not even those 40-year-old creeps who spent the summer in their mother's attic bulking up Belle Delphine's bank account. Christ above, they'd probably sell their house to sniff a lock of her hair. But even Brendan Rodgers wanted to sell him to Fulham. He just looked like your bang average, overpaid English flop of 2011. In a year where that was all the rage at Anfield. Like honestly, in 2011, those kind of signings were more commonplace at Melwood than STDs and a Love Island shower mat. I defy any of you, even his cat, to tell me that you knew Jordan Henderson was going to be a Champions League winning captain back in 2011 when he was sending every second ball screaming into Rose End. And if you do, then you're a goddamn liar. Man City, Raheem Sterling.
Raheem Sterling! Oh, how could you not have rated Raheem Sterling? How dare you? Oh, Irish guy, you know nothing.
Yeah, stop right there. I'll bet you didn't rate him either. Like, it's not even that. Like, it's not even that I didn't rate Sterling. I did, of course I did. He was always a talented young man. But did I think he was worth £50 million? No! Did I think some kid who had all the end product of a pigeon with arthritis was worth 50 million? No! A lad who just scored 7 goals in 35 games and who had just sat on the bench as his team lost 6-1 at Stoke City. I think it's safe to say I, like most of the world, have been proven very wrong. And you know what? Fair play to him. Man United, David De Gea. It's very possible that in 9 months, the answer to this will be Harry Maguire. You know, after I nearly had a stroke at his goddamn price tag. But no, for now I'm gonna go for David De Gea. I, like many of you, thought this man couldn't catch leprosy in a crack den when he first arrived. He looked about as confident under pressure as a priest under questioning. And when you're getting dropped for Anders Lindegaard, a fella who somehow tricked his wife into believing that he was an actual professional footballer, you know your career is sliding down the goddamn toilet. But now he's gone on to become the best goalkeeper in the world. Newcastle, Matt Ritchie. When Matt Ritchie dropped down into the championship with Newcastle, I was shocked. In my own head, this lad was one of the best wingers outside the top 6 in England. Christ above, how wrong was I? Jesus Christ, the lad has been turned into a glorified left wing back, and not a very good one. Yeah, he tries hard, but do you know how many Premier League goals he scored for Newcastle? 5 in over 70 games. If he was one of the best wingers in England, he wouldn't be playing at left wing back in the defence with Paul Dummett and Javier Manquillo. Norwich, Tim Krul. Maybe I wasn't wrong on this, because 5 years ago, Tim Krul was one of the best shot stoppers in the Premier League. You know what? I'm actually going to stand by this. I remember arguing this on an almost daily basis with anyone that would listen, my postman, the milkman, even the drunk at the train station, that, you know, Tim Krul was one of the top 5 goalkeepers in the top flight. I genuinely believed this. And then his career fell off a cliff, leaving me with my lad in my hand and egg on my face. There were a couple of worrying years there when he was warming the benches of Ajax and Brighton. He could have honestly just picked up a few shifts at his local bowling alley. Nobody would have missed him. But he's back in the Premier League now and starting at the age of 31. So go on, Tim. Go and prove me that I was right. That you are one of the best shot stoppers in England. Go on. Sheffield United, Ched Evans. I used to think he did it. Next. Just kidding, alright? He doesn't even play for Sheffield United anymore. Okay, an actual one, I don't know, Billy Sharp maybe. 5 years ago, this man was netting 5 goals in 33 games for Leeds United in the Championship. Can you blame me if I assume this man was on course to become an old, used up coffee bag who'd soon be mopping the floors of his local gym for minimum wage? No, instead he's been a goal machine for Sheffield United. 90 goals in 4 seasons, including 1 in the Premier League. Not bad considering he netted 13 in 64 games during his second spell at Sheffield United over 10 years ago, where he looked about as efficient as a 4-foot window cleaner. Southampton, Fraser Forster. Okay, no, I refuse to admit I was wrong on this one. This was not my fault. This man tricked me, alright? I wasn't imagining this, okay? For 3 seasons, Fraser Forster was a monster in that Southampton goal. Yes, he might have looked like something out of the Addams Family, and had hands bigger than my face, but he was a great shot stopper. He wasn't in the England squad for the crack, like. I honestly don't know what's happened to him since. Maybe he's taken to snorting butter up his nose 3 hours before every match. Maybe he's just forgotten what gloves are actually for. But nowadays, I wouldn't trust him to mind my lunch, let alone keep goal for 90 minutes. Tottenham, Harry Kane. Yeah, I admit it. I was one of those that thought this man was a one-season wonder back in 2015. Again, can you blame me? The man was 22, and he spent his formative years sitting on the benches of Millwall, Norwich, and Leicester City. I assume in the 14-15 campaign, where he scored 31 goals, was some sort of divine intervention from an almighty being, and that yeah, he would soon be back to making David Nugent look somewhat competent. But no, not even a little bit. Watford, Will Hughes. I'm not sure about Watford. I know half the country was tipping Tom Cleverley for England's stardom one day. I even had a friend who told me that he was better than Aaron Ramsey, and he kept this up for a few years. To the point where I was worrying that he should, be locked up in a fucking madhouse and should have underwent intense psychotherapy for even daring to let that thought cross his brain. I also saw right through Danny Welbeck's mirage, posturing as some sort of top 4 striker, except how do you expect to lead the line for Manchester United if every time you touch the ball, you look like you're having some sort of allergic reaction? So no, I'll go for Will Hughes. I believe the hype. When he was at Derby County, I thought, yeah, he was destined for a top 4 team. He's never going to play Champions League. He's just an ordinary run-of-the-mill mid-table midfielder. West Ham, Declan Rice. I actually thought this man was a decent, trustworthy professional, instead of having the backbone of a squirrel. Honestly, I hope this man isn't an organ donor. It would take at least 12 paramedics to find a shriveled peanut raisin lodged in his chest masquerading as some sort of heart. Okay, too harsh. Too harsh. No, it isn't. Our country is not a joke. Wolves, Matt Doherty. Matt Doherty has been my country's best player for the last year. On form. Did I envisage this when he was struggling to make the team in League One at the age of 21? Did I see this coming when he was 15th in the Championship just 2 years ago? No, I didn't. And I'm pretty happy I was wrong about this. Now, if only Mick McCarthy would put him in the team. Anyway, that's the end of the video, lads. Let me know, what players were you wrong about? Because I'm sure you were. Yeah, let me know. I mean, I've been wrong about a lot here, and a lot more. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Twitter and Instagram is there. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.